and now get them in position and help them to make even more plays.
Obviously, the sack numbers were, a big deal the last couple of years. Besides last year, obviously dipped a little bit. How do you guys as a defense get back to that, attacking the quarterback?
Well, we can't go sack the quarterback if teams are running it and they don't have to throw it. So when it will help with our new offense to be ahead, because when you're behind, they don't throw the ball. When they don't throw the ball, you don't get sacks. And so teams at times last year were happy to go 3 and out and punt the ball because they're playing to win. And if you're up a touchdown, you got to score to beat them. And so I think the thing that is exciting is that we're going to score a lot of points. We're going to move the ball, and I think it gives us a better chance to go get the sacks that you're talking about.
From going up against this offense, what are some of the specific challenges that they bring?
Speed, athleticism, very, very complicated offense. They're all over the place. They're moving all the time. They give you fits by having to adjust, and he's got a great scheme. It's exciting to watch.
Pat talked about his team needing to prove it after going 3-9 last year.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I'm sorry. Pat has talked about his team needing to prove it after going 3-9 last year. What do you think the defense needs to prove and get better on from coming from last season?
Well, I think we have to stop the run. We didn't stop the run as well last year. Even though the yards per carry were not as bad as our first year when we played in the championship game, it was still way below what we expected. And so that's the number one thing. We have to stop the run, and we have to attack the quarterback better.
Who are some of the younger guys on defense you think could have a breakout season?
Boy, there's just so many. I would hate to tell you at this point, maybe mid-season that'll be a better, or mid-camp, because right now there's just so many guys that I look to see who those guys will be. And until we get pads on right now with as young as we are, I'll hold on that until I have something to tell you about that for sure.
I asked Ryan about Cam Lindsey. He said he made a couple plays today. What's been your perspective? Obviously, a local kid with a lot of interest, a lot of success at football kind of here.
Well, Cam's a great athlete. He's a great football player. He's got great football sense, and he's had one day as a college football player. So he's got a long way to go, just as everybody. He didn't come in until the start of summer, so he didn't get spring ball. So he's got a lot to learn.
How do you feel about the linebackers, like some of the guys that were true freshmen last year, Bass, Biles, and Braylon Lovelace? I assume I'll be seeing a little bit more playing time this year.
You'll see them play a lot of football. The nice thing is we have about 6 guys fighting for 3 starting positions. The positive with that is that we'll have great competition, and with great competition, guys will all continue to get better. So who will be the first guy out, I don't know yet, but I know you'll see all those guys play.
With the scholarship increase that was recently announced, you guys are moving to 105 scholarships next school year. Does that change how you recruit at all, or do you anticipate it changing?
Well, we've started to talk about that, but that happened about 3 or 4 days ago. So I'll tell you as we get more into that, it's a little premature for me to give you a great answer. Because right now we're really more worried about this football season. And we have a full recruiting office. It's probably a better question for them. Sorry about that.
What do you think about some of the veterans you have returning, especially that safety position? I know you got a lot of guys like obviously Donovan, PJ, and Javon. What do you think about those guys coming back and leading the safety unit?
Well, I think we've got a lot of playmakers back there. We also have a lot of depth, so I'm excited. We'll be able to roll a lot of guys and find maybe roles for those guys other than just safety. Maybe nickel, things like that. So try to get 3 or 4 of those guys on if they prove to be the players this fall that we expect them to be.
Juxtaposition that with the cornerback position where you guys have a lot of your veterans left last year. Obviously Marquez, MJ, and AJ all graduated.
Sure.
I mean, how have you seen the competition at the cornerback position? I know obviously Rylan Gann, he seems like a guy that Pat has talked about a lot.
Sure.
Who else?
Rylan's played a lot, and we've got 4 other guys, 2 transfers and 2 guys that are going into their junior year that are ready to be starters. They've waited their turn. It's their time, and no Bigelow and Tamarian Crumpling. So with those 4 guys pushing, and Rylan Gandy, I think we got a lot of great competition.
Pat's talked about a different attitude this season coming in. Have you seen that from your own perspective, and what are some of those markers of a different attitude?
Well, I think the attitude is that we let ourselves down in many ways last year. We weren't up to the defensive standard we expect, and we're going to change that by how we go out and play, and being aggressive and being a run-stopping defense is what we've been, and we will be again this year.
I feel like people have talked about Jimmy Scott a lot as a defensive end and just what he could bring going forward. What have you seen from him in terms of his growth over this past offseason?
Jimmy's worked really hard. It's his time. We've had guys that have moved on. We've had guys who've graduated, and it's Jimmy's time. He's kind of rotated in, but he's waited his turn, and it's his turn. And just like the other guys who waited their turn, most of those guys, if they're productive, play in the NFL, and I expect nothing different from Jimmy.
I mean, look at the linebacker position. I mean, you have like a lot of veterans in terms of like, you know, Key Thompson from Ohio, and you have Brandon George, he's back, but you also have some younger guys as well, like Braylon Lovelace and Rasheed Biles and Jordan Bass. How do you think having some veterans, having some younger guys meshes well with your linebacker unit going forward?
Yeah, well, I think the vets are able to talk to the young guys about things coming up. I think the young guys give the vets a lot of excitement because those guys are playmakers, and we know they're playmakers, and I think that we'll see which ones start, but it's exciting to have a mix like that. A lot of young guys, and they're ready to go. They're excited.